country. Thanks.
Speak to you. It amplifies your voice.
Oh, thanks, Brad. Oh, boy. And it causes people to trip, too. Thank you. I'm Matthias Yoder, and I just flew in from Pennsylvania, Dutch country. And boy, are my arms tired. That's right, I masturbated the whole way. Yep. Joined the Mile High Club. Solo. Well, not entirely solo. The girl sitting in the seat next to me reached her hand under my blanket and joined in the fun. But that was awkward. That's the last time I sit next to my sister on an aeroplane. Oh, you English are so gullible. That didn't really happen. Amish aren't like that. We don't fly on aeroplanes. We came here on a bus. So I didn't join the Mile High Club after all. But I joined the Interstate 80 Club 3 times. You know, you can't spell comedy without ugh. Oh wait, that's laughter. Oh boy, I'm so nervous. Look at all you people. We sure could have used you at the barn raising. You know, I want to thank Brad Stewart for promoting this show and marketing the show and doing such a good job doing promotion. Ever since I got off the bus and started walking the streets, people have been staring at me and pointing. Thanks, Brad. I feel like a real celebrity. I was real nervous before I came up here, and Brad said, Matthias, are you going to be able to make it? And I said, Brother Brad, I'm not sure. I'm as nervous as a sheep in a sweater factory. He said, I can make you a concoction and make you really relax, and you won't care about a thing. And I said, boy, I could use that. So he mixed me something up, and I took a big drink of it. And Brad said, Matthias, I probably should have told you before you took a drink of that when you wake up tomorrow morning, you're not going to remember what happened. I said, Brad, what'd you give me? He said, we call it a Bill Cosby. So I want to thank Ross Broccoli for setting it up for me before I got on stage. Thanks, Ross. When I got into town, Ross found out that I was a farmer, and he invited me to visit his farm. So we got in his motorized trailer thing, pickup, you call it. It was cold and rough and stinky, and it was slow. It was just like my horse and buggy if my horse had defecated in my buggy. So anywho, we get out to his place, and he gives me a tour of his farm, and it's just like my farm. There's no indoor plumbing, and there's chickens and a big garden. And Ross has turkeys. And Ross told me, he says, you know, something about these turkeys I learned, they love hemp. Because this fall, those turkeys, they just shredded and ate all my hemp crop. And I said, maybe that's why we're so tired after Thanksgiving dinner. So anyway, Ross let me stay at his place for a couple days. And I slept on his couch. And this morning when I woke up, I said, hey Ross, get me a newspaper and make me breakfast. And he said, what do you think this is, a Holiday Inn? The Amish are funny. Not a lot of people know that. It's true. For instance, have you guys heard the one about the chicken that crossed the road? Yeah, that's ours. If it wasn't for the Amish, knock-knock jokes would be called ding-dong jokes. My method of comedy is unconventional. I start with my best material and I try really hard up front to try to impress you. And the longer we're together, the less hard I try. I call it marriage comedy. Speaking of, oh boy, I just flew in from Pennsylvania, Dutch country. Boy, are my arms tired. Oh no, that Bing Crosby's starting to get to me. You know, Ross Broccoli told me, he said, Brother Matthias, if you forget your lines, a comedian's trick is to stop and take a drink of water and get out your notes and read your notes. The other day, I had to do some painting. But my arm was really sore, so I had to use my non-dominant hand. So I painted, and when I got all done, I stepped back and looked at it, and it looked like my sister had painted it. My sister's the best milker in Dutch Bend, Pennsylvania, and she's never even touched a cow. Oh, you English are so gullible. That didn't happen. That's not true. That's a joke. She's not a Mennonite. My wife told me, she says I do the same routine all the time. And it's not very impressive. She said, what makes you think anybody'd appreciate someone doing the same routine week after week, year after year? And I said, well, why don't you ask the Harlem Globetrotters? I read that if you hang a picture of a rooster in the hen house, it will stimulate the hens. So I went to the farmer's market and I bought a picture of a rooster and I hung it in our bedroom. It has some mood music, that's good. So I asked my wife, I said, is this, what do you think of the picture of the rooster? And she said, honey, one cock is enough for me. She kept the picture. While I was at the farmer's market, I bought my wife a box of pistachios to show her my appreciation. And I gave her the pistachios, and she looked at me with a strange look. And I said, what's wrong? She says, I can't eat these. And I said, why not? And she says, I'm allergic. And I said, what happens? And she said, they make my lips swell up. And I said, oh no, you must be allergic to bacon too, because it makes your butt swell up. You know, a lot of people think that the Amish don't embrace technology, and that's pretty true. But we do embrace modern medicine. And it's a good thing, too, because I just turned 49 years old. And I realized, after 30 years of marriage and spending money on my wife to take care of my erection, now I have to spend money on my erection to take care of my wife. I got lost on my way here. Why is it that the Yankee Hill Road takes you to Old Cheney, but Old Cheney Road takes you to Yankee Hill? That's what I thought. You guys seen the price of fuel starting to go up again? It's almost $3 a bushel of oats. You know, what they called Amish? I gotta start that one over again. That Bill Crosby's got kicking my butt. You know what they called doomsday preppers 30 years ago? Amish. When I was leaving Pennsylvania Dutch country, my neighbor, Brother Jebediah, he comes up to me and he says, Brother Matthias, I hear you're going on the road to become an Amish comic. And I said, that's right. And he said, aren't you concerned about exploiting a group of people that are considered backwards or misunderstood or ridiculed? And I said, hey, you don't talk about comedians like that. You know, I wrote down a few things about the Amish on my bus ride here. To educate you about the Amish, we separated from the Mennonite church in the 1600s because they were impure sexually. And according to 1 Corinthians, that's not good. So, just a few families started up the whole religion, and we descend from them. That's why we all look the same. Did you know that Amish men aren't allowed to grow their beards until they're married? It's true. Our wives have no idea how good looking we are until after we get married. The shaving rule goes both ways, too. Did you know that Amish don't listen to music? It's true. We're just like pop country fans. Amish don't vote, so you can't blame us, Brad. Amish don't wear timekeeping devices. So the other day when I visited with Brother Jacob, he said, Brother Matthias, you're an hour late. And I said, how do you know I'm not 23 hours early? Yeah. Did you know that Amish don't have smartphones or cameras? That makes sexting a bitch. I'm going off script a little bit here. But here's some advice. If you're drawing a picture of your privates and mailing them to your girlfriend, don't try to save money and put it on a postcard. That will get you in trouble. But it got me a date with the postmistress. Some English money. I'm a professional comedian. Brad paid me $2. That's right. Did you know that most Amish don't have indoor plumbing? That's why I was so pleased when I got here to use the deluxe accommodations of the zoo bar. Thanks, zoo bar. I can't wait to go home and tell everybody what a fancy place you got here. You know, another Amish thing that you might not know about is that when our teenagers become mature, we allow them to leave the colony and participate in the vices of the English, so they can drink your alcohol and smoke your drugs and participate in immoral sexual behavior. We call it rumspringa. You call it hanging out with Ross Broccoli. You guys, how about those NFL boycotts, right? The Amish started boycotts. We've been boycotting the NFL since it became a league. We started in the 1600s. We started boycotting churches and we boycotted alcohol and electricity and automobiles and televisions and computers. Our boycotts are very effective. That's right. When I'm not doing comedy, I'm at home shepherding the sheep. One day while shepherding the sheep, an Englishman pulled up alongside the pasture, and he got out of his car and he walked up to me and he said, "Hi, my name's Kevin, and I've been on the road a long time, and I'd like to share the companionship of one of your sheep." And I said, "Hi, Kevin, I'm Matthias. You seem like a gentleman. You may go out to the pasture and share some company with my sheep." So he walked out to the pasture, and he grabbed one of the sheep, and he walked it behind the tree, very gentlemanly. And he got behind the tree, and he pulled down his pants, and he looked up at me. And I was laughing. And he said, "Am I doing it wrong?" And I said, "No, you're doing it right. But that's not a ewe, that's a ram." That's right, I saved him a lot of embarrassment. Imagine if his friends found out he'd made love to a boy sheep instead of a girl sheep. They would have thought him a Mennonite. You know, before I got up here, Brad came up to me and he says, "Hey, Brother Matthias, you got any finger-banging jokes?" I said, "Nah, I don't got a finger-banging joke, Brother Brad, but I got a finger-banging story." So he says, "Go ahead and tell it." I said, "It's not very funny." He said, "It doesn't matter. Everybody loves a finger-banging story." So here goes. Last summer, I went over to Brother Jacob's and helped him build a barn. And I accidentally hit my finger with a hammer so hard, it was the worst finger bang I ever had. It was so bad when I got home, it hurt so bad I couldn't diddle my wife. I'm about done here. Before I go, there's one thing that I want to tell you folks, because it's a question I'm often asked. People often ask me, they say, "Brother Matthias, why is it that the Amish shave the facial hair around their mouth?" And I tell them, I think it's pretty obvious. Makes us so attractive. But I said there's other reasons too. Like for instance, it makes it more pleasurable when we're enjoying our wife's clam pie. And it also helps give us a better seal on the bong. Thank you. I'm Matthias Yoder. Thank you.